So we are recording 31. So my name is Tiiu Treier, and I'm from Enterprise Estonia. I'm Eureka National Project Coordinator, and there are two of us. Maria Värton next to me is the head of International Collaboration and Funding Office, and we both will be talking today. First, I will make an introduction, what we are going to do today. So welcome to all to the webinar for innovative companies in Finland, Latvia and Estonia. This is not only organized by Enterprise Estonia, it is organized also by Business Finland, Latvian Council of Science and Latvian Investment and Agency also. So there are three countries that are determined and believe in international collaboration. And as there is a saying that if you want to go fast, then go alone, and if you want to go far, then go together. And to prove that, we have today two companies presenting their experience on how they have benefited from collaboration. They introduce their projects and their collaboration. One is from Latvia and one is from Finland. And at the end of this webinar, Maria will also introduce a few ideas of Estonian companies that are meant for collaboration. And she did a really hard work, connected with lots of companies, and this is a really good thing to stay and listen. But of course, we talk about the funding also. So we start with the general, that we are really happy that Mr. Gürey Sebest from Eureka Secretariat has joined us to talk about the Eureka and the program itself. Afterwards, we all talk, me, Laura and Markus from Business Finland and from Latvian Council of Science. You can also wave, Laura and Markus. We'll talk about the funding conditions that we have for international collaboration. And before I give the word to Mr. Gürey, I will talk about a few things that you can use in this webinar platform. It's not the usual one that we usually use, that the Teams or Zoom. But it's more interactive. I hope that you all, when you're logged in, you filled your profile, so you can already find other companies who have registered to this event. If you see that underneath the screen, in the right down corner, you can see all the participants, and go and look at who they are, and you can already connect with them and have a private chat. And there's also a green arrow, and if you push there, then there's two tasks. So we want to know more about you. And there's two questions, and if you find time, then go and answer. We would like to know more about you, and we will conclude the answers of these questions later on. About the questions, that if you have any questions, then we will take them all after each presentation. I hope this is okay. And I think this is all, that we are ready already for the first presentation. So Mr. Sebest, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Let me allow me to share my screen first. Could you please just give me a thumbs up or something that you see my full screen? Perfect. Okay. Oops, sorry. Welcome everyone to our webinar on Eurostars program. My name is Gürey Sebest. I'm a program management officer at the Eurostars team in the Eureka Secretariat in Brussels. With this first presentation on Eurostars, I would like to give you general information about the program itself, the content and how it works. Then I would like to do a quick delve in on the monitoring aspect of Eurostars projects. And don't worry, I will explain everything about what is monitoring. And then we will move on to the ethics appraisal or the ethics review of the Eurostars projects. But first, before talking about Eurostars, I would like to give a quick word about Eureka itself. So the Eureka Association is an intergovernmental network that was established in 1995. Its aim is to foster economic growth and job creation, and also to support all types of companies and partners in their R&D and innovation projects. Our network so far has seen participants at the number of 15,000 SMEs, close to 5,000 universities and research institutes, and 9,000 large companies. Moving on to Eurostars, as a preamble, we can say that Eurostars is part of the European Partnership on Innovative SMEs. This partnership is co-funded by the European Union through Horizon Europe. Here is a list of the Eurostars countries. There are 37 Eurostars countries. The latest one to have joined is Singapore in 2021. As you can see, we have all 27 EU member states, plus other countries, such as some that are associated to Horizon Europe, such as Iceland and Norway, among others. Eurostars is a funding program, and it is specifically tailored for SMEs. But not only their SMEs, also their partners, such as academic institutes, universities, research institutes, large companies, and other types of organizations. Eurostars is market-oriented. It's not about doing only pure research. Eventually, you will have a product, a process, or a service that will have to be launched on the market. Eurostars is bottom-up. This means that you can innovate in any technological area that you want and touch any market area that you want. It's really up to you. Then we can say that Eurostars is an ideal first step in international cooperation. This is because the program is specifically tailored to having at least 2 members that's coming from 2 different countries. As such, Eurostars is an ideal first step in creating links and networks of cooperation in R&D and innovation. As I mentioned, the program is specifically tailored for SMEs. As you can see here, they represent 70% of our participants. They're really in the driving seat of the program. And also we can mention that the SME itself is the main partner or the main coordinator of the consortium. I will touch upon this a bit later furthermore. You can see that we also have 14% of universities and then research institutes and large companies. As I mentioned too, that the program is market oriented. So at the top, everything starts with your innovative ID, but then eventually you will have to have your project result, which is either a product, a process, or a service. And then this result has to be launched on the market eventually. A typical Eurostars project is 3 to 4 participants coming from 2 to 3 countries. The average duration is 30 months, and the average project cost of a project is 1.4 million euros. Who can apply to the program? Eurostars program is open to both organizations based in Eurostars countries. In this case, Eurostars funding is available with differences from country to country. But the program is also open to organizations that are not based in Eurostars countries, in which case the funding is not available and a self-funding declaration must be provided, meaning that the participant has to self-fund their own project activities. Eurostars is open to all types of organizations, SMEs, large companies, hospitals, research institutes, universities, etc. What is important is that your consortium must meet the 7 Eurostars eligibility criteria. I will now detail these criteria one by one. The first criteria of Eurostars is that the project consortium is led by an innovative SME from a Eurostars country. So as I mentioned, since the SMEs are in the driving seat, is the SME of the consortium or one of the SMEs of the consortium, if there are several, that will lead the consortium and be the main project coordinator. Second, the project consortium is composed by at least 2 entities that are independent of one another. As I mentioned, it's important to have 2 different organizations because it's a collaboration. On the right, the project involves at least 2 Eurostars countries, at least one of those two Eurostars countries is either an EU member state or an Horizon Europe associated country. This criteria is about the international aspect of the collaboration. On the bottom left, the budget of the SMEs from Eurostars countries, excluding subcontracting, must be at least 50% of the total project budget. No single participant or country is responsible for more than 70% of the total project budget. The project duration is 36 months or less. And finally, the project has an exclusively civilian purpose. Let's talk a bit about the funding aspect of Eurostars. Eurostars program uses what we call a decentralized funding process. What does this mean in practical terms? Here you have a consortium of 4 participants. We have an innovative SME from Belgium, an SME from Estonia, a large company from Finland, and a university from Latvia. Each one of these participants do not have a contract with the Eureka Association, but they have a contract, a funding contract with what we call their NFB, their national funding body. The national funding body is the national authority managing the Eurostars funding at the national level. They can be either a ministry or an agency. So as you can see here, for example, the SME from Estonia has a contract with the NFB from Estonia. What is important to know is that when you receive Eurostars funding, the funding does not cover all the project costs. Some of the costs will have to be covered by the participants. On average, we estimate that 50% of costs can be covered. As I mentioned too, each NFB has its own different rules. There are differences from country to country. These differences can be on the types of organizations that can be funded, on the types of activities that can be funded, and on the funding rates. So before applying, we strongly recommend that you contact your National Project Coordinator, NPC, and your NFB. You can find them on our website and filter by country. And we really recommend that you contact them to have advice on the application itself, of course, but also on the funding rules in your own country. Here is a look at the timeline of the Eurostars program. Everything starts with the application process. Then we have the evaluation of the applications. And then only if the application has been successful, then there is the monitoring of the running project. A few quick words about our platform. Our platform is where all phases and aspects of the program takes place. So the application, the evaluation of the applications, the monitoring, the ethics, everything takes place on what we call the EPMP, the Eureka Project Management Platform. The website is myeurekaproject.org, and it's also this place where you can put all your documents, such as the application form, your annexes to the application, the consortium agreement, which I will detail in a bit, your reports and your summaries, etc. So for the application, everything starts at the bottom with your project ID. You have your ID, and then we recommend that you go on our website, eurekanetwork.org, where you can find all the relevant documents and guidelines that will help you to have a successful application. We suggest that you first step contact your national funding body. As I mentioned, they will give you personalized advice and also explain the rules of funding. You can register on our project platform that I just mentioned, the PMP, myeurekaproject.org. And then you can, on this platform, complete the application form, check your eligibility, upload any annexes, and then you can submit. Here is a look at the timeline of the evaluation process. So the first step at the left is to check the eligibility of your project. As I mentioned, the 7 Eurostars eligibility criteria have to be respected. Then there will be a remote evaluation. This is done by independent experts that will evaluate remotely your applications. And at the same time, the NFBs will perform what we call a legal and financial viability check. This is to check that your organization is financially viable. Then we move on to the ethics review. This is the ethics appraisal, which I will explain in depth at the end of this presentation. And we also have at the same time the independent evaluation panel. This is a panel of independent experts who gather and who evaluate every application received during the call. The last step is to have the funding results, and this is to communicate it to the participants. Last step of the program is the monitoring. This is reached only if the evaluation has been successful. So your project has been approved, it will be running, then the project monitoring can start. Here we have what we call the monitoring requirements. These are the responsibilities and the obligations of the participants. This goes on independently of your funding status, so whether you receive Eurostars funding or not. And it goes on simultaneously at the national level, your NFB, and at the international level, us, the Eureka Secretariat. I touched upon it briefly. So we have the main partner, which is one of the SMEs of the consortium. It's an important role because they will have several tasks. The first one is that they're the main contact person towards us and your NFB. The main partner also will submit the consortium agreement on our platform. They will deliver the project progress summaries via the project progress reports. These reports are a summary of your project progress during 6 months, every 6 months. And finally, the main partner will also inform us and the NFB about any changes occurring in the project. This is a look at the monitoring timeline. Your project has been approved. To initiate the project, we need the consortium agreement. During the project execution, we will receive your project progress reports in which you detail the progress made during your project. At the project finalization, we receive your final report. And then when the project ended, for 3 years, every year, we will have a market impact report. This report will help us to know what has been the impact of your project on the market. I mentioned it during this presentation, the consortium agreement. This is really an important document, and we really suggest that you start already to touch upon it, to talk a bit about it with your eventual partners, even during the application phase. Why? Because this document will state the rights and the obligations of each party, of each participant, and it is to be completed and signed by all partners. The participants cannot start the project until this document has been sent to us, and is to be submitted within 6 weeks of receiving your approval. To help you discuss and complete this document, we have guidelines and a skeleton with several items that you can put in your consortium agreement. These guidelines and skeletons are available on our website, eurekanetwork.org. I touched upon it also, the project progress report. So this is the summary of your progress. The frequency is every 6 months, starting from the beginning of your project until the end. It helps us to regularly monitor your project. We can see what type of progress you made, if you reach your milestones, deliverables, the progress in your work packages. And you can also include any possible changes that you make to the project or that you would like to make. Speaking of changes, why do I mention this? Well, the nature of R&D work is sometimes unpredictable. Sometimes it may be necessary for you to do some changes in strategy or direction during the project to ensure that the project can continue and to ensure ultimately its success. We just would like to let you know that any change that you would like to make or that you have made needs to be communicated to us, the Eureka Secretariat, in order to comply with your project monitoring requirements. We must ensure that the quality of the project is not compromised by any changes that you request. I will move on to the last part of this presentation, which is the ethics appraisal, the ethics review. I put this at the end of the presentation, but please know that ethics occurs at every step of the project. Even during your application, there is some aspects of ethics that need to be covered. Indeed, ethics appraisal is for all Eurostars applications and all project activities carried out under Horizon Europe. What do we ask from you? We ask that each project consortium identify and describe any potential ethical issues that may arise from their project. And we would also like you to detail how you plan to address them. This is known as the ethics self-assessment. The goal is to verify the respect of the ethical principles in legislation, and the use for you is to respect, of course, the legal framework, but you will also find that it will enhance the quality of your research. Here are some ethics categories. I will not read them all. I'll let you read at your own ease. I will just mention a few of them, such as human embryonic stem cells and human embryos, human beings, of course, personal data, privacy, data protection, research on animals, artificial intelligence, etc. Here is a look at our timeline. So the first step is that we'll appoint independent ethics reviewers. These are some experts that we hire independently. These experts will complete an ethics screening report. In this screening report, they will set eventual requirements that you may have. So we ask you to check your report. What is your status? What are the results of this check? Are there any requirements? Is an additional check necessary? And then the ethics experts will also complete an ethics check report if necessary during the lifetime of the project. Here is a look at the results of the screening report or an ethics check performed by the ethics reviewers. You can either have an ethics clearance, so your project proposal does not raise any ethics issues, or the ethics issues have been well identified, well addressed. The second is a conditional clearance. In this case, the experts will, in the report, list some ethics requirements that will become contractual obligations. These may include, in order of, let's say, complexity, first, supplying documents or information. Second, adjusting your methodology in order to comply with the rules. Third, as I mentioned, perform an additional ethics check. And four, appoint an independent ethics advisor or a mentor. The last type of results, which I reassure you is very rare, is to have a no ethics clearance. This is when your project proposal has major ethical flaws and we cannot give you ethics clearance. Then it's possible that your proposal may not be accepted and not be eligible for funding. A few last words on the ethics appraisal. Well, we operate on a trust-based system. We expect participants to take all the necessary steps towards fulfilling the requirements that are listed by the experts in the screening report. We ask participants to keep documentation available upon request, even if there are no ethics checks that are scheduled. So even if you have ethics clearance or conditional clearance, we ask you to keep documents available. I would like to mention our email addresses. You can see that I put 3 types of address. The first one is about your application. If you have any questions about your application, please contact applications@eurostars-3 If you see that your application has been successful and you have any questions about the monitoring of your running project, projects@eurostars-3 And for any questions about ethics, as I mentioned from the very beginning, even during the application phase until the end of your project, it's ethics@eurostars-3 I will conclude by talking about the next Eurostars call. The next call will open on 12 January 2024, and it will close on 14 March 2024 at 2 p.m. Brussels time. Applicants thus have 2 months to prepare their application and to submit it. I will strongly recommend to not let it at the last minute and to do it in advance. We will not accept any application submitted after the deadline. With this, I conclude my presentation. I would like to thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, as I mentioned, there are the email addresses, but if you want to ask me questions, it's also possible. My address is gurai.serbest@eurekanetwork.org. Our website is eurekanetwork.org, as you can find there all the guidelines, and we're also available on social media. I will now take happily your questions that you may have in the chat. Thank you for attention.
Yes, at the moment we don't have any chats, any questions at the chat, but they may come later on. But Gürey, I wanted to add that these calls are twice a year, so this is going to be at the March is so-called spring call, and the second call just closed. So it's twice a year. So if you don't make it, the international collaboration is such a thing that it takes time to prepare, and so if they miss the March call, but I think that right now, personally, that right now is quite a right time to start preparing the project, and you will be ready for the March call then, and don't leave it to the last minute. Every year it happens that that there are a bunch of applicants who submit the application at the last minute. I wanted to ask how many were there at the last call, just to give the overview to the listeners that how many applications there usually are in one call, and what the success rate usually is.
On average, our statistics show that a third of applications receive funding and are approved. And for our last call, we received close to 500 applications.
Mm-hmm. So this is, yes, all over Europe, and like Guy said, that not only Europe, but beyond Canada and South Africa and Korea and South Korea and also Singapore. So it's quite exciting amount of countries to collaborate with. Basically, if you find a collaboration partner in Europe, then it's quite probable that they also have the funding to cover the costs. We help you with the costs of this collaboration project. Thank you, Kure. Next on is the funding. So we have that intriguing headline for this part of the program, that how much? And this is often the question that the companies ask from us. So there are three of us who are giving the overview of this part. Mr. Markus Ranka from Business Finland, Laura Kunga-Jäägre is from Latvia, and me from Estonia. We all do the same things, but in different countries. We consult the companies how to take most out of this program, and how can we fund them. So first of all, I will give the word to Markus. Markus, are you here and ready to present? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Tiiu. And welcome everyone who's joined this webinar. Very nice to see so many of you. And I'd just like to say thank you to Tiiu and Laura in Latvia as well for organizing this event. It's a pleasure to collaborate in this, and I know it's been a lot of effort, so thank you. And thank you, Jakub at First Beat Technologies, the Finnish company whose presentation you'll be hearing later. Thank you for also being part of this. It's a great thing. I'll be presenting my let's see here. My presentation. Okay, for some reason I don't see my presentation in this. There we go. Yeah. So my name is Markus Ranka, and I'm the National Project Coordinator for the Eurostars program here at Business Finland. And Business Finland is indeed the national funding body in the Eurostars program for the Finnish participants, like Gure just described. So Business Finland is the one that provides the grant and the funding to the Finnish companies and research organizations as part of this program. And we are also then doing the first stages of the evaluation, or the legal and financial viability check of the Finnish applicants. But I will go into that later. I will briefly go through these funding details and information that is relevant for Finnish participants. And I think it's also interesting or useful to hear for the Latvian and Estonian audience if you will be planning consortiums and projects together. So it's always perhaps useful to know the other countries' funding information too. But Eurostars funding in Finland and for Business Finland, I would describe it as a platform to provide our national R&D funding to these international collaboration projects. So basically, the funding process here in Finland is similar when a company would receive R&D funding for a regular national R&D project, but this is the platform that we can provide the support when a Finnish company or a university is collaborating with a partner from another country, for example, from Estonia or Latvia. Here is the funding information, so meaning the funding rate, for example, and these are also similar with our national funding instruments. So to SMEs, the funding is 50% of the eligible project costs. And one of the most frequently asked questions that I receive is this: how large the Finnish company's budget can be. And basically the budget is open, so the companies will propose the size of the project and what type of grant they would like to apply for. And here the companies need to acknowledge that the project budget, of course, and the grant needs to be kind of aligned with the size of the company and with the current resources of the company. So that at Business Finland we can also see that this applicant will indeed be able to complete the project successfully, or at least start the project with the resources that they currently have. So to mid-cap companies, the funding rate is 40%, and to large companies also 40% of project cost. But here the maximum grant is 60,000 euros for large companies, because indeed the Eurostars in Finland, we consider it as a platform for the SMEs international collaboration. So that's why there is this limitation for the large companies. And for research organizations, it's the usual amount of grant is 70,000 euros with the 70% funding rates. So research organizations are welcome to be part of the projects, and usually their portion of the project is 100,000 euros. So that will equal to the 70,000. The funding itself can actually be used for similar activities or the same activities as for the regular national R&D projects. So the cost structure of the project is completely similar as when a company would apply for regular funding from Business Finland. So the principle is that the costs need to be targeted on research and development and innovation activities, and it can include salaries of the project or subcontracting, needed material or equipment costs, even travel costs that are justifiable in the project. But this is something that if it seems difficult to compile the project budget, I'm always available for discussing that and helping out the Finnish participants with the budget issues. Like I mentioned, Business Finland indeed carries out this financial and legal viability check in the beginning of the Eurostars evaluation process. As part of this, all the national funding bodies, they need to respond to this question whether the company or the applicant can complete the project or has the sufficient resources to complete their part of the project. And due to this, I usually urge the companies to consider whether they do at the moment have the sufficient financial resources and a team that can actually commit to this Eurostars project at the moment. So it's the current financial situation and the personnel resources as well that Business Finland will assess during the legal and financial viability check. In addition to that, and which is a basic principle in Business Finland's funding criteria, or this characteristic in our national criteria, that Business Finland has the mandate to provide funding to companies that are conducting R&D activities, but at the same time clearly like showing effort to reach international markets, and that's part of their strategy, that they will eventually expand from Finland to the international markets. And this is also to consider that it's whether that's topical at the company at the moment or in the future, and also to bring it out in the application and in the discussions if you are in contact with Business Finland about the Eurostars project. The funding itself is based on our normal funding terms and conditions, and that's where the eligible project costs are also outlined in a more detailed manner. In addition to that, there are specific or separate Eurostars program terms and conditions. Both of these can be found on Business Finland's website if you Google Business Finland's funding terms and conditions. And the Eurostars conditions basically stipulate that the company commits to conduct the Eurostars reporting tasks, and that's why there are these two specific documents when the funding decision is made. The evaluation of the application itself, here Business Finland wants to respect and follow the results of the international evaluation process and the work of the independent evaluation panel. Like we heard briefly in the previous part, there's the panel that will eventually create this outcome of the projects, or a list of the projects that will be proposed for funding. And this is what Business Finland follows at the end. Some kind of key messages and what's the current atmosphere at the moment here at Business Finland's with regard to the Eurostars program. Business Finland indeed has funding available for good projects, and the budget is open, so the companies can propose as high as they see is viable at the moment, and they do have the resources to complete the project with. And so it's a flexible approach with regard to the size of the project budget at the moment. No thematic requirements from Business Finland with regard to the topics of the project. So like we heard, Eurostars is bottom up, and the companies and the consortiums, they do decide the topic and the main focus of the project. So Business Finland doesn't really take any stance here. Bilateral and trilateral consortiums are completely fine. So for example, a project between a Finnish company, a Latvian company, or between Finland and Estonia are completely fine to Business Finland. And the current atmosphere indeed in Finland is very favorable towards supporting R&D projects, and the Finnish government wants more R&D activities by the Finnish industry and companies and research organizations, and this includes these international collaboration projects. So I would describe that the atmosphere is very favorable towards Eurostars at the moment at Business Finland, and we strongly encourage Finnish participants and organizations to be part of this program and start creating consortiums with the international partners. Yeah, thank you. That's my section of this webinar, and please feel free to be in contact with me in case you have any questions about Business Finland's funding in Eurostars program, or about our national eligibility criteria, for example. Thank you.
Markus, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. There are a few questions at the chat.
Okay.
For you. So are you ready?
Yes, yes.
How do you assess financial and staff resources? What are the criteria? I don't know how to answer that.
Well, with regard to the staff, Business Finland has a minimum requirement that the company needs to employ at least 2 people, but that's a minimum requirement, and that doesn't mean that it fulfills the eligibility yet necessarily. And each company's kind of situation is assessed individually and on case-by-case basis. So it's a bit difficult to say these like strict like values that we will look at with regard to the company's financial situation, for example, but each company is assessed individually, and we will have a discussion about the situation, and we will request for more information in case it seems that there is something that we need to look more deeply into.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this funding, is it covering also patterning cost? Do you know?
Well, that's a quite specific, like a project. Depends on the project, I would say, and this is also a bit difficult to maybe always have a clear statement on the eligible costs of specific projects. So these will also need to be discussed on case-by-case basis. But to me, it sounds like a patent process would be included into like innovation activities and R&D activities. So yes, I would say that it could be included in a project.
Possible for SMEs.
For SME participants especially.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and there's one question about the aid. Is it considered to be de minimis support, or what kind of aid?
This is not de minimis, and that's why the projects are rather or they are larger than de minimis projects usually, I would say. So it's quite normal that the grant would be, for example, 500,000 euros, and that would of course go above the de minimis limits. So
R&D aid.
This is R&D aid from Business Finland. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. But to also other presenters that there are public chat where you can where the questions go, and you can keep your eye on the questions. So I think that we can also answer some questions in the chat when you can keep your eye on that. Of course, the one who is presenting, then I will ask the questions afterwards. But thank you, Markus. Thank you very much. Yes, Markus brought out that his slides that the project can be Finland, Estonia, Finland, Latvia, but it can be also Finland, Latvia, and Estonia. So there can be more than 2 project partners and more than 2 countries involved. So keep your mind open. Next is Laura. Laura, are you there? Laura will talk about.
Yes.
I will talk about funding conditions in Latvia, so please.
So, hello everybody. Thanks for coming and listening to us. I also would like to give a big thanks to our enterprise, Baltic Satellite Services, CEO Ilse, who will later will tell you how it is actually to participate in the Eurostars project. Her project welfare alerts were very well received, so please pay attention to her. So this is a little bit additional information for funding possibilities for Latvian participants. Some information is like the same that Gori and Markus already told you, but there's some additional. So for Latvian participants, each can receive up to 100,000 euro per year. So if the project is, for example, 3 years, then each Latvian participant can receive up to 300,000 euros per project. And if there is like 1 or 3 participants in one project from Latvia, each can receive this kind of money, but we encourage to not exceed more than 2 participants from one country, just in case if there is some budget limitations still for each country, so you can this project can be approved. National funding can receive small medium enterprises, large enterprises, universities, and research institutions. There is some additional national regulations, so each participant must be directly responsible for implementation of the project. Enterprises must be legal entities in Latvia, and enterprises must submit financial reports for last 2 years. This means that enterprises, it's small, medium, large, must be at least 2 years old, basically. And you must not have any tax debts or any other financial irregularities, because, well, first of all, it's against the Eurostars rules, but also we don't give advance payments. So the companies, as Markus said, needs to be financially stable that they can cover their costs in project. And you can't receive any other public funding for the same activities. And enterprises and also universities and research institutions must separate their project costs from all other economic activities. The add intensity, it depends on what will you do in your project. For industrial research, it's 50%, and for experimental development, it's 25%. This aid can be raised up to 80%. If there is small enterprises, there additional 20%. If there is medium-sized enterprise, it's additional 10%. And if the project involves effective collaboration, for example, there are 2-3 small medium enterprises in the project, or the project includes universities or research institutions, and also if the project results are disseminated through conferences, publications, or there is open access, then this increase is 50%. So we can sum all this up together, and enterprises can receive 80% aid. And the universities and research institutions, the aid is 100%. What we cover basically all what you need to do in a project we can cover. It's personnel costs, travel costs, cost for instruments, equipment, also for materials, supplies, everything what you need in this project. And also additional constructional research, knowledge, patents, and we also include indirect costs, must not be more than 25% from all other direct eligible costs. And that's very quick from my side. If you need something more in details, please contact me, and we can start from the beginning. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Let's see if we have questions for you. At the moment, I don't see any, so all Latvian participants, you know now who to turn to when you need a consultation. So yes, it is, I can already say from Estonian side also that, of course, you can submit application to the Eurostars application. This is possible without consulting our agencies. We are all national funding bodies, NFBs, like what Gray used, the acronym. And but it is really, we recommend you to contact us and talk.
So there is no surprise later, because why I didn't receive funding, why this application isn't eligible. You know, these kind of things. Maybe we can try to solve it before you submit your application.
True. And although, okay, it's not it's not really very easy to this application of Eurostars, but it's a lot easier than average European funding application. So if
I fear it's more easier than Horizon application. So it's a very good start.
And
it's your first application, it's a good start.
It's a good start, yes. And when you make so much effort and already fill the application, and afterwards you find out that you're not eligible, or there's some other kind of problems that could have been solved already before, when only that you contact us, then that's a shame. So contact us, and we will go through your project ideas, and also see the financial situation of your company and see how are you eligible or not. But okay, thank you, Laura. Now it's my turn. So I will also share. Okay, I'll share. Okay, you should now all see my screen. Perfect. And shortly about Eurostars funding in Estonia. Like you already now should know that all the countries have different funding mechanisms a bit, but it all comes together. That's why I really love Eurostars, because it's centrally managed. All the countries have agreed that they have a budget for these calls, and when these projects are approved by Eureka Secretariat, then we all can fund them from our national funding systems. So yes, Estonian companies now listen carefully, because now follows the funding rules in Estonia. And as Markus said, it's actually useful information also to others, because if you have already collaboration partner in Estonia, then you understand what is the scope and what are the conditions that how can we fund these projects. So Enterprise Estonia is a national funding body in Eurostars in Estonia, and we cover up to 60% of the project's cost. That is that 60% is for small companies and 50% is for medium-sized companies. Micro is a small in our sense. Unfortunately, we don't fund large companies, because large companies can fund the collaboration project usually for themselves. And we see the need of supporting more small and medium-sized companies. Also, universities are not at the moment cannot be funded through this grant. The maximum amount of per participant is 300,000 euro. That means that if you're a small company, then the project, your part of the project can be around 500,000. And if you're a medium-sized company, already 600,000. But keep in mind then that for a small company, 200,000 is your own expense, and medium-sized company has to fund 50%. That means other 300,000 euros of this project. Eligible costs, they are mostly the same that are generally in Eurostars program. So if you apply in Eurostars project, then if you see the budgeting part of the application, then all these places can be filled except overhead. Overhead is not eligible at the moment, and that is why we always want you to contact us. This is a usual place where Estonian companies slip that they think that it is also eligible in the overhead costs are eligible. So of course, keep in mind that if you budget the overhead costs, then this is your own expense. And the eligible costs are personnel costs. You can also amortization costs of instruments and equipment. Cost of materials is eligible, and if you have some contractual work that you has to put in, then these also can be covered by the grant. But of course, the main point of doing international collaboration is that you do the main part of the work. So it doesn't work like that I will buy in all the services and be only the body who makes application. So yes, there's in Eurostars rules, they already share how many costs you can buy in and what part of the project you have to do yourself. And what I said before already when we chatted with Laura, the consultation in Enterprise Estonia and all the other funding agencies also in Finland and Latvia, we deeply recommend to contact before you start putting together the project, so we can give you preliminary assessment of the financial visibility of your organization and give the feedback of the project idea, that we have the understanding what kind of project can fly higher than the others. After positive evaluation result, as it has been said here today before, that the evaluation of the project is central. We do not evaluate project idea here in Estonia anymore. So we only evaluate, are you eligible for funding in Estonia? So but for that, you have to submit an application to Estonian Business and Innovation Agency, and that you are in our management system. And we do the financial check again, but we actually have already done it before, and usually nothing has changed, but have to do it. And as Gürey also said, that the partners have to sign consortium agreement, so the project cannot start before the consortium agreement has been signed. And the project financial reporting will be with us. So all the Estonian companies in Estonia can, in our reporting platform, can report all the expenses directly to us. So I think this is all from my side. I will stop sharing. See if there are any questions about that. No, right now I don't see any questions. That's good, because that means that I did a good work, that you don't have any questions. But anyway, when you have any questions afterwards, then please let us know. We will send the recording after this webinar to you, and then you will get all our contacts again. But okay, let's go further. So next part of this webinar, we are really happy that Ilse and Jakub could join us. Ilse from Latvia and Jakub from Finland, who are real companies who have done a real Eurostars project, and they have experience in international collaboration. So please, Ilse, can you share your screen and tell your story?
Yes, hello everybody. Just quickly I'm trying to share my screen, but okay, I'll share entire screen. Can share just PowerPoint. Okay. I hope that you can see it now.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, I'm very happy that so we had this opportunity to go through this Eurostars program and to realize one project. And I'm also very happy to get acquainted with Laura, our national contact point, because it was very, very helpful, and it perfectly led us through all these 3 years while we were doing this project together with our French and Spanish partners. So yeah, I'll talk today a little bit about our company and what we do, and also afterwards introduce with this Eurostars project, Wildfire Alerts, which we realized from 2019 until 2022. So it was a 3 years project. Okay. Our company, Baltic Satellite Service, has experience in development of different geographical information system projects. We were working for about 20 years with different governmental entities and also private companies in building different kinds of GIS systems. And the last 5 years, we started to focus just on this Earth observation services, and we deliver different kinds of services derived from satellite imagery. And today, so I can tell that we have many systems developed which can demonstrate also this power of satellite imagery services and satellite imagery data. And we work basically in forest industry. Then we have a flood monitoring service. We also work with farmers. Then last year we introduced imagery services to Riga City Council in detecting changes in green areas, also some heat islands and some changes in water areas. And Riga City Council now is using, for instance, service in their daily operations. Then we also started our work with electricity network monitoring. That's quite a long network that we have. It's like 60,000 kilometers. We're really excited about this project and how satellite imagery will help the company. And the latest project that we'll just initiating is the development of Earth observation data Baltic platform for governmental services, which means that we'll provide the platform itself, which provides different satellite imagery data and also demonstrate 6 different applications for different governmental institutions to show how it really works in real life, this satellite imagery data. This is just one example how we participated in EU-funded project and provided already, that was a project within Horizon program, and we provided this completely operational Earth observation data platform to scientists in Latvia and Sweden, and they are running their algorithms on our platform. We are providing time series of data, and these organizations can just do what they want, work with algorithms, and the platform provides them the full service of data preparation, and publication also of results. And so the scientists can, at the end, they can have different territories where they can check how the algorithms are working. Then another 2 projects which were very much R&D projects for our company. There are European Regional Development Funds project where we try to detect timber volume and also excess water from radar satellite imagery. And this excess water detection project is in final stage, and in November we already are capable to present results, and we have really interesting findings, so we can really tell in which territories we can detect excess water under the standing forest and where we cannot do that. But for the forest owners, I think it can be really valuable additional data source and information for the management. And another interesting thing that we are addressing to is this bark beetle detection and also excess water detection from satellite imagery, which are acquainted daily. And so we have very often data which we automatically analyze and detect these changes. And we have validated these data results in Latvia in certain areas and with some forest companies. For instance, we can see that there's a problem in a forest, and then when we get to the spot, we see that there's a beaver dam and there's really forest standing in water. And that's really can be damaging for if that's that lasts for a long time. It can be damaging for the forest in large areas. Then this bark beetle. Also, we went to the spots which the analysis results suggested us, and we found really the small clusters of trees, like 6 trees, 10 trees, which were infested by the bark beetle. And so really happy that it worked. And now we are looking for partners or some other companies which from different countries, from different areas, where we can also provide results and get feedback and do this validation. Because in Latvia, we are excited that this is really working. And then, okay, this was also these solutions that kind of related to the project that we did for fire detection, because the data of excess water, the data of dead forest or burning material, it's really, really important for prediction of the areas where wildfire can be of higher risk and where there's a less risk of wildfire execution. So our story related to Eurostar was that we about 5 years ago, our company was accepted in Copernicus Accelerator, and we participated in France, in Marseille, in one seminar where we met our partners and we got acquainted with Axisna. This is a company from France. They were basically a consulting company, and they offered to do this business development, marketing planning, and such kind of activities in the project. Then we also met AD Telecom company, which produces cameras, real cameras, which are mounted on large towers, and they are looking in real time for some fire detection. And us, we were involved as a third partner in the consortium, providing these Earth observation data services. And this is a result of the project, where from our part, where we provided the fire detection from Sentinel-3 data. So it's every time when we have imagery, we automatically detect all the spots where wildfire is going on. The problem was with clouds, that if there are clouds, so we cannot see anything. Then another thing what we did was create the most actual base map from satellite imagery, so we can provide where there is clear cuts, where there's water, and all the surrounding information for the end users, like forest, these firefighters. And the third thing that we did, integration of Copernicus EFIS indexes in this web application, so which again is additional source for firefighters, for forest managers, and etc. So they can detect risk, and there are like 20 different indexes which provides again different additional information in terms of real situation and also forecasting. We have integrated these results in different R&D and commercial systems, and regarding the project itself, so we were really happy that this idea that was in our minds and that we were really eager to realize was possible to do that. And it led, at least for our side, definitely to commercial integration into commercial products. Then it really helped to find and found very good relationships with this Latvian Eurostars office, and we are still in constant cooperation and communication up to now. So it's really very positive. And then we get acquainted with new companies from France and Spain, where we can do also business and provide these services in the future. Then also we talk with local firefighters and forest industry a lot in the frame of this project, and contacted also potential end users. And it was great that we could use also external expertise and involve researchers and industry experts who were really into this fire detection problem solution, and they really helped us to focus or to frame our project and to determine what really we can do in the frame of this project, and do not run out of scope, and focus just on things which are really doable within these 3 years. And that was very, very positive, because we could really get to the result that we planned in advance. Of course, there were different changes in the process that we made, but these researchers that we attracted and involved in the project really helped us. And also, we were very happy about the execution and reporting, because it was just twice a year. And also there was no stress, at least from our side, that what are other partners accomplishing, because if we each of us execute our part, so this is our responsibility, and we don't stress about other partners. And I think that was also very good, because you never know. And it's also during our project there was this COVID phase, and for instance in Barcelona they were really influenced from this situation, and so we were for us it was different, and so it felt for us very good that we could just be responsible for ourselves. And okay, this is the last slide about the future. So we are after this project we are looking for cooperation with different industries which could be interested in Earth observation data and this data related to fires. Then we also would like to, we could provide this Earth observation data platform for scientists, for researchers, for students, for any other companies which are thinking about using this spatial or imagery data into their projects. And also looking for partners maybe who can provide near real-time data from different sources, and to be able to integrate these data into our existing systems and to provide more accurate and more actual and qualitative data for the end users. So that's basically all from my side. So thank you.
Thank you, Ilse. There's not a question, but there's a comment in the chat for you that great project, wide range of applications, stakeholders, and positive impact. So praise for you. I wanted to ask you a question that was it difficult for you to apply, and did you succeed at the first time, or did you apply several times?
You know, the French company and Spanish company, they applied initially just 2 of them, and then they got review that they need to improve the project proposal, and then they met us into this conference, and then we added our part, they improved the existing proposal, and then we get financed. So it was the second round when we got this project approved.
lucky for you, and
For us, yeah, it was the first time. Very lucky, very
and
lucky.
great that you are the one who brought the success to this project.
No, we did really provided many details to the initial project description, and that was the, I think, key issue that really helped to evaluators to really understand more what exactly we're going to do and what exactly will going to be result. And I think, yeah, that was a key issue in this case. That's how we felt about that. But yeah, we're really happy about the situation and very positive towards the program. Yeah. And if you really do what you promised to do, so I don't say that there wasn't any big challenges. Of course, there was initially the first time when we were reporting how to do it correctly, but then Laura was of great help, and then also we spent, of course, some time doing correct, right way of reporting, and then for the next reporting periods, it was, of course, a lot easier and no problem.
And okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna.
And this is something that I also want to emphasize, that what we also have seen with the Estonian applicants, that they may not succeed for the first time. So don't be alarmed. Listen the comments of the evaluators. They in this program they give really good feedback. And then you can improve the projects, find an additional project partners, like in this case, and try next time again. Okay, thank you, Ilse. And next, Jakub from Finland. Please share your experience with the international cooperation.
Yes, I will share my screen. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we see it well.
Okay. Thank you. So I can start. Hi. So thank you. I'm Jakub Parak from First Beat Technologies from Finland, and we were invited by Markus to this event. I'm so happy that I can present our experience from this Eurostars projects, as we had like two relatively big projects in the last year. So I will tell you something about that and something about the consortium, what we did, and then a couple of some practical points which I would like to highlight it for this international collaboration. So very quickly, as I said, I will tell you the consortium, then something about the project. They have the good name SmartBeat and ScreenBeat, both are about the health technologies, and then some practical experience, some advices how to start, and then something for the execution of projects. So the consortium, so as I said that I'm from First Beat Technologies, which is the pioneering company in heart rate variability based on physiological analytics for sports and the wellness. First Beat is at the moment like 20 years on the market, but is still like a SME company. At the moment, we have like around 50 employees. It is a Finnish privately owned company, and it's headquartered in Jyväskylä in the central Finland. Maybe some of you have running our algorithms in your smartwatches already. And for this consortium, like for these projects, which we had the bilateral consortium with the CSEM, which is the Swiss Center for Electronics and Microtechnology. I would say it's the research institute, which is very close to the VTT in the Finland. And their mission is mainly to develop and transfer technologies to the industrial sector to reinforce this competitive advantage. So they are doing like the prototype work, and they try to commercialize it through some other companies. So it was the very good fit for us. It is already like, it has been founded in 1984. So it's like already has some kind of the longer history. And it's, as I said, it's a non-for-profit or non-profit organization, and it's supported also by Swiss government, and the roots are coming from the Swiss watch industry and located on Neuchâtel. So just a thing that both things are not in some like main cities, but we are also in central Finland, and they are like also in Neuchâtel, which is a small city in practice. A little bit about kind of how this was created. Well, there were some connections in our company, like through the research for this CSCM Institute, which we then said, hey, guys, we probably need to do something, and let's try to do this international collaboration through the Eurostar project. I personally, I was working before like in some spin-off or startup company, and we also commercialized the technology from CS over the company. So they were kind of the networking experience. So that was the reason why we created this consortium and said that, hey, let's do something together. So something about the projects, as both projects, what we have done has been about the health technology. So the first project was called Smart Beat project, which was held from 2018 to 2020. It was for 25 months, and it was for the context-aware intelligent wearable system for monitoring stress, fitness, and well-being. Here are like listed the main achievement of the project, and also you can see there was like created some prototype industrial design for the new technology for the heart rate variability monitoring using the single ECG device with the electrode. This was created with our Swiss partner. We were more like delivering the algorithms. As it listed, we have been doing inside in the company for this R&D project, like optimizing the heart rate detection algorithms, creating the new algorithms for the automatic context detection, which means like the sleeping, physical activities, and so on, which are used for some wellness assessment. The one thing which was done in the Finland was the testing of the prototypes and other sensors, as we were doing some comparison with some like already on the market devices and compare it with the true reference. So there was the big data collection in the laboratory conditions and also in the free living conditions, new prototypes and the algorithm. This I need to highlight what was already said in the beginning. We need to get all ethical clearance through Eureka, and also we need to obtain all of the ethical permissions from the local ethical committees as well to be able to execute this project. What was like the outcome, except this prototype and the algorithms? At first Beat later commercialized this algorithm and partly not this industrial design, but it was a little bit more modified for the final commercialization in the First Beat live service, which you can find on the First Beat web pages. Is the system which is used for the occupational healthcare providers nowadays in Finland, Sweden. We have also customers in the UK, Netherlands, and for the trainers, personal trainers, coaches, and gyms for kind of the stress and recovery assessment. Also, as this project was partly the research project or scientific project to bring some new technology, some scientific publications has been also done as the outcome of this project. So this was this first one. Then I would say we had a bit luck. So we were able and we applied for another project, a little bit of continuation and more development of this or further development, because as we are the company, we are not operating in the medical area, but mainly for the wellness and sport. But well, there is also like something like considering that about like going towards medical, as the other competitors are going to the medical side. So we use this opportunity and try to apply for the next R&D projects when we try to or propose the new screening method for some cardiac arrhythmias and sleep apneas for the employees, especially for the occupational healthcare staff. So that project was held from 2021 to 2023 for 28 months. I can say that we got the luck in that sense that first we were like under the line in the list, but then some other consortiums didn't start their project, so they asked us that if we have the enough funding and we would like to do it. So yeah, so the achievements were that we have there, that's 2 big data clinical collection campaigns for the new algorithm development, one in the Finland, one in the Switzerland. Also for both, we need to get the ethical clearance and ethical committee approvals and all of the stuff. So we created some algorithm libraries and proof of concept designs for screening these disorders or diseases. Then also there was like enhancement of this previous prototype industrial design for the device, which can, beside the ECG, measure also the bioimpedance for the breathing with tetrapolar electrodes. And we also were testing some dry electrode stuff in this project. Then first we also explored and decide possible medical regulation part and roadmap for the new features. And CSCM, as the research institute, create some libraries and these prototypes, which they will is planned to partly commercialize with us, but also they have full right and full IP to commercialize it with somebody else. So it's like, but it's some is the IP of them and some output of the project is IP of the first bit. And of course, there will be some joint scientific publication which will be presented next week in the Computing in Cardiology conference. So you can find the paper. I think it's the open source, so you can find and read about this, what was created in the project. So we had these 2 big projects more focused on, or the most focused on the health, as first bit works in this consumer health industry. And the next thing what I would like to tell you, it's about some kind of the practical advices or the things which we will been like facing during this project collaboration, as is the big international project. So I would be very quickly go through, but like it's good to remind the thing that how to start. Like first is set up the consortium. As I said, like we used quite a lot of the networking, but as you can see, the Latvian company used just some other way how to get the partners. But the good look for the partners from your networks, you can look for your subcontractors, suppliers, long-term cooperation partner or customer. Then, for example, some high-credited public research institutes or university, for example, what was in our case, check the open or coming application calls for the Eurostars. The most important thing that make the project targets or form the project targets, that it will be win-to-win for all involved partners, which was, for example, in our case, that we could commercialize the stuff and enhance our technology, but also CSCM as the research institute will bring the or achieve the new IP, which they can further commercialize and they can use it in the other research projects. So it's good to have it very well balanced for the both sides. Then write an application, be enough ambitious, be innovative, be competitive, define plan, target, and realistic deliverables, define the cost for research, travels, materials, etc., which was like mentioned here. So that, but then the project execution, to make it very smoothly, and you can face different issues. Also, we were facing these COVID issues in the second project, so there were many things were done online. And also, I would say that also, as was said, that that Switzerland was more hit than the Finland, and I think the restrictions was much more tighter there compared to Finland. So it was also quite challenging then execute that other project. But what is good is to set up the project team structure, make it clear, make this introduction of the project counterparts and also the responsibilities. We have these bi-weekly checkup calls, and we're open and straightforward about any issues which are coming, which will really help for the execution of the project. Schedule the plenary meetings to meet face-to-face, which is really great to see the counterparts from time to time. Follow your plan and targets and deliverables. But of course, if there is something happens, just justify the changes and deviation from the original plan, because I can say from my personal experience in the both projects, we had to justify some changes which just happened because the things were not going as it was planned. And for example, waiting for some ethical committee approvals or some prototypes, pre-certification took long time, etc., etc. So the things might not go always as you plan, but don't be worried about that. Follow the deadline for the reporting periods, which was in this monitoring part, and the monitoring is really pragmatic, so you don't need to be worried about that, and you can get quite a lot of help from your domestic level granting agencies. And then in the end, agree on the reporting results and using of intellectual property, and continuing the good cooperation and commercialization of the stuff. As for example, we are still doing with CSEM and discussing how we will move forward from the stuff we created in the projects. So thank you. That was everything from my side.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah.
Jakub. There's a question from the chat that I will ask you. It's about the project partner from Switzerland. As the first bit was funded by Business Finland, but do you know that the
yes.
partner was funded by InnoSwiss?
InnoSwiss, yes. That's first. Yes, InnoSwiss was the counterpart for the partner.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, as in all the countries we have the funding agency, and in Switzerland.
Yes, exactly.
But I wanted to ask you, this is that kind of project that intellectual property rights are a question. So how did you manage to agree on intellectual property rights? Did you do it in consortium agreement?
Yeah, we did it in the consortium in bilateral agreement. Like we agreed that who is doing what and what would be the own IP for each company and what would be like the joint stuff. And also like that we were quite cautious like then with some scientific publication like to go forward according that. But yes, we make the bilateral agreement like on that, like in the consortium.
Yes. This is often a question that the companies ask from us. How do they share it? So I think that in all the countries, I think there are intellectual property experts that they can turn to. Did you need to turn to somebody, or you have the knowledge of yourself about about the intellectual property rights?
I know that this was during the creating the contract and agreeing on the stuff. Yes, we have some kind of the experts and they have the own experts. So this was like clearly stated in this consortium agreement, like who would be whose intellectual property. Yeah. So we did some kind of the experts consultation for this. And I would say that CM is, especially CSEM, they have a quite a lot of expertise in that because they are doing this like with other companies, and as they are this public research institution and they are doing this commercialization of research of stuff, so they know how to define the stuff and help with that partly.
Okay. But anyway, thank you, Jakub, for this interesting presentation. I really like that you brought out the how to apply, what to keep in mind, and also that what are the things that you went through when you did the project, and how to manage the project well. And it's okay when the project doesn't go like you first visioned, so it usually doesn't go like that. And
yeah, that's absolutely, yeah, that's true.
As Gray also said, that it's possible to also change the project meanwhile. So you did also that you shifted the course. So
yes,
you
a little bit. Put it this way, we need to shift the course, but it's only main thing is about the communication. I think the open communication, it's very important to all of the parties, and it was to our partner and they towards us, and then also to both like domestic granting agencies and also to Eureka. Very quickly, for example, we were, because of delays, asking about the extension of projects and changing it on the budget proposal and stuff, and etc. So, but we did it in time and agreed mutually on that. So that's possible too. Everything is possible to do, just it needs to be agreed and openly communicated.
Thank you. Thank you, Jaakko, for sharing your experience, and thank you for presenting your project and how it went. Okay, yeah. We are ready.
You are welcome.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. And now we are ready for the last part of our adventure today. And Maria has again, the headline of Maria's presentation is again quite exciting, Pond of Good Ideas. Maria contacted a lot of companies and got back some ideas that they are ready to collaborate on. So sharpen your minds. Maria will tell you about them, and of course, you're all. If something interesting is there for you, then you can contact already these companies directly. So yes, Maria.
So hello everybody. So first, let me remind you that today it's only a warm-up seminar. And the main event will take place at the beginning of February on the 2nd, November, on the 2nd of November, when we invite you all to come over to Estonia. And so my presentation is, the main task of it is to inspire you and demonstrate some of the Estonian companies who have shown their interest towards this kind of cooperation. And so you can already show your interest towards this face-to-face event at the same website where you registered to webinar. And at the same website, you can also already indicate your interest to this face-to-face event on the 2nd of November. And Theo will shortly share the link also. So as I said, it's only part of Estonian companies I can present today. So there are more, but so it is to inspire you what kind of ideas and companies are from our side ready to cooperate. And so I go quickly through some companies and the ideas, and you are already welcome to contact them because they are all present in this web platform. So first, technology sector for food and fermentation. It's privately owned research organization with an ambition to accelerate food, health, and biotech innovation. So we aim to solve the most complex challenges in food innovation and microbial cultivation, and transform a traditional animal-based food industry into food production in bioreactors. So it's really a flagship of food innovation in Estonia, and it's active also in health field. So in the field of health, we are looking to collaborate with SMEs to develop novel approaches to improve health and well-being by modulating human microbiota, gut and beyond. So, and develop and demonstrate the benefit of food ingredients, supplements, or pharmaceuticals on gut microbiome in vitro or via dietary intervention studies. And I have to mention that the company have several international partners, also quite solid corporation which are active internationally, and the company is also experienced already in Eurostars, so they know what their path to success is. The next one is Sunbase. It's Estonian health technology company focused on developing and marketing clinical decision support. It is a software as a service platform for implementing clinical decision support. Besides that, we represent a wide range of evidence-based databases and applications aimed at healthcare workers in Baltic countries. Our mission is to help clinicians, healthcare providers, and governments to prevent medical errors and improve patient outcomes. And I have to, I can confirm that the solution is working in Estonia, and the company Sunbase, they have this solution has received Best Public and Digital Service in Estonia a couple of years ago. So it's really proved, and it is not just a dream, but it is really a working solution. And Sunbase is interested in finding partners in Latvia. So be ready. And we continue with health topics, and MyPrevention is an Estonian software-based medical device manufacturer with a goal to help millions of people with primary headaches. And their solution is innovative digital headache clinic, which provides digital pathway tools for patients, specialists, and clinics to manage and treat primary headaches. And with this software as a medical device technology, we offer more efficient and patient-centered approach. Our first generation device allows patients to track their headache episodes using a digital diary, while specialists can monitor their progress through a patient manager dashboard. So, MyPrevention is also like continuing their path to develop. And the next generation device will include diagnostics and treatment support through digital therapists. And the company and their solution is also mentioned by Sifted as one of the most promising digital therapeutic startups to watch. So as we all know, there are several, not to say hundreds, health startups, but MyPrevention has already got a really solid recognition. And MyPrevention is looking for additional clinical and AI or machine learning development competence to take the present solution to a more individualized level. So, but now let's move to another field, it's energy. So we can't survive without energy. So FuseBox is a software company that offers a turnkey virtual power plant as a service. So it's with energy management system capabilities. And The product has been developed to address the challenges that modern-day power utilities face. So this is something what we have all faced the challenges. And so with renewables, there is more and more need to manage consumption and production of energy and make rapid decisions to balance consumption and production amid scattered resources and integrating intermittent renewables. So it's really modern day challenge. And as a result, the customers can maximize profitability of their electrical assets, gain access to various lucrative energy markets, and offer innovative services such as demand response to their end customers. So, and FuseBox's goal through this collaboration is to connect with potential customers who are balance responsible parties. But I'm quite sure maybe some more interesting ideas may pop up. So let's dive underwater. The next company I'd like to present is Marine Systems, and it's a European high-tech startup already with revenue of 2 million. So it really demonstrates that something has been done already and successfully. And Marine Systems is developing a new AI-driven launch pad for autonomous underwater vehicles. And this is a first kind of 100% automated solution that increases safety and efficiency in a rapidly growing market. And I'd like to point out also that the international patent application is already submitted. All the development is done in-house, so smart guys, and 100% is under their company's ownership. And to get the solution market ready, Marine Systems is also looking for an international cooperation. And there are some really statements that demonstrate that the company is experienced already. They know what they do, and there is a more recognition from other partners as well. So let's continue with Electro-Air. Again, it's electricity and charging, but is a kind of challenging issue today. And Electro-Air is manufacturer, developer, and designer of ground power units for aviation and chargers for electrical vehicles. So Electro-Air can carry out all phases of production process from planning and design through to execution. And we offer a complete one-stop solution that includes standalone, mobile, hybrid, battery-powered, diesel engine-driven, under-amp frequency converters. So different technological components to the whole systems. And today the customers are airports, ground handlers, airlines, and also electrical vehicles, fleet operators, and private owners. And of course, as the company is experienced in aviation, so the safety and reliability are their values and keywords which are taken into account. And the company is already experienced with 400 plus clients in more than 80 countries. And also recognition from external recognition, a Factory of the Year in 2023 in the category of small and medium-sized enterprises. So yeah, it shows they know how to develop their technology. And Stuck is a leading machine learning and data science company in Estonia that develops artificial intelligence solutions. Again, a very experienced company, 200 plus successful projects in more than 10 years. And their data scientists, engineers, and analysts have more than a decade helped the clients identify a plethora of data-based opportunities for solving business challenges. So they are really good at data science, and they are looking for companies interested in improving their energy consumption. Again, the keywords of today and future: production and price forecast, automating energy trading, and developing energy management systems with AI. And also Stuck can assist with energy system investments, investment calculations, and automatically generate sales proposals for such systems. Also electric vehicle charge allocation planning and cost benefit analysis are provided by Stuck in cooperation with spatial analytics company Positio. So more smart guys they can cooperate with. And I can imagine it's like you are kind of wondering, so how long will it will it continue? Yeah, I could continue at least for some more hours, because they're really great interest from Estonian companies. And this slide is just to say that there are more and more ideas. Just because of the time limits, I can't present them all. And here are again some keywords which reflect interest in collaboration. And so health technology, smart city, energy. And so there are several challenges brought out to be solved together. So it's all from my side, although there are more good companies to cooperate with from Estonia. And we really want to welcome our Finnish and Latvian colleagues in November. And as Eureka saying, this going innovation beyond borders is a slogan of Eureka. And we as Nordic people just have to follow a very, very simple recipe. Just talk to people. So I think if we really meet in one physical place, in one venue, have some food and nice being together, then it's really good environment to come up with innovative ideas and cooperation. So thank you.
Okay, and that's it. Call to action is 2nd November. Like Maria said, at 2nd November, we wait here our Latvian and Finnish colleagues and also Latvian and Finnish companies to come and matchmake here in Tallinn. It's not far. It's not far from Riga. It's not far from Helsinki. So it can be done in a day. We wait for you here, 2nd November, and show your interest at the webpage that the link was sent by you in the general chat. And we thank you for participating here today. I would like to have Laura and Markus also with their cameras on before we go. Markus is there. Laura had to go. Yes, she had a she had to pick up the child. Everyday life. But anyway, Markus, wave and and thank you for your collaboration organizing this event. So we are also collaborating between Latvia and Finland. So thank you all for participating. You will get the recording, you will get the slides, and you will get the information also about the 2nd of November. And if you cannot make it, then I hope that you get the ideas and inspiration for collaboration in the future. So you know that there's funding for that, and we can help to manage the risks because it is quite risky to do innovative product development or service development. So this is the point of this program, that we can help you to manage the risks. So thank you again, and see you at the 2nd of November already. Bye.
Thank you. See you.